Um, before the break, we did our review of the week, and we talked about the Say So remix, Savage remix, and Insecure episode 5. You should check all of those out if you haven't already.
Absolutely.
And now for our hot topic, we're going to get into something a little bit more serious because there's a lot of serious stuff going on out there in the world.
Indeed.
So basically, we wanted to just talk about something because it's near and dear to our heart, but it's really hard to talk about. And so I think I'm just going to try and launch into it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the unprecedented killing of unarmed Black people, Black men and women
in America.
In just the past 2 months alone. A lot of this stuff has happened in a couple months back, but a lot of it's been has been brought to light within the past week.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kick it off with, we're just gonna tell you guys some facts and tell you different stories, summaries of situations that are happening, because we think it's important that as many people hear about this as possible.
Yes.
Because it's a problem.
And hopefully do your own part in your research and your own, talk to your own family and maybe children about what's going on if you can, in a way that they can understand it as well. So
we definitely need to be having a larger conversation around this at this point. One, we have way too many people on this list for the topic that we're even talking about. So the first person who really kind of brought all of this to the forefront is Ahmaud Arbery, who was an African-American male who lived in Georgia, Glenn County. He was only 25 years old, running in his neighborhood during quarantine back in February 23rd. February 23rd, when two men, Travis and Greg McMichael, their father and son, and actually the father used to be a Glenn County police officer, they basically hunted the man down and shot and killed him. They stated that they shot him because they were in pursuit of...
they were making a citizen's arrest
for a burglary that had happened in their neighborhood.
Yeah, citizen's arrest, and then you shoot somebody. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Shoot and kill. Jeez. So what we've come to find out, one, is that the whole burglary is fake.
Cover up.
There wasn't a burglary. They made that up to cover their butts. Mm-hmm. We've also found out that this has already been passed through 3 attorneys.
Yes, that part.
To recuse themselves because they were too close to the suspects,
and
the McMichaels.
And one of the 2 actually said that they didn't believe there were any grounds for arrest after viewing the video.
And that was the first DA
to recuse themselves.
So now, okay, so after 2 district attorneys, it went to Tom Durden, which he sat on it for a little while. And that's when, I think it was May 5th, the video came out and was made public.
Viral.
And that's when he decided, I'm going to take this case. Well, Ahmaud's family didn't really care for that. So there's actually now a 4th lawyer involved. So this is now this has been on 4 different district attorneys' desks.
It's getting a lot of hype too. It's definitely trending.
Oh, it's absolutely. It's been trending.
There's a hashtag Justice for Ahmaud.
Mm-hmm. People are running with Ahmaud.
On his birthday, everybody ran 2.23 miles.
He would have turned 26 last week. And so in order to honor that,
everybody joined in and ran 2.23 miles and said hashtag I run with Ahmaud. May 7th, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation actually arrested the McMichaels for felony murder and aggravated assault charges. So that's a win in and of itself, because everybody in Glenn County was just going to let this slide.
The problem with that is that it only happened because of the public outcry, rather than because it was the right thing to do.
Well, the video surfaced, right? And it wasn't even before. Right. But have they even found out who shot that yet?
There was a 3rd gentleman involved.
There was a 3rd gentleman.
Video, right? They haven't released anything on that yet, have they?
They haven't. They're looking for that person. who shot it. So,
the video, right? The video.
Yeah,
Yes.
who shot the video. And so, yeah, like Jasmine said, there wasn't any, it happened 2 months ago. It happened in February. And we didn't find out about it until Cinco de Mayo, May 5th.
Yeah.
So this has been, essentially, they were like, we're not going to do any about it. There's no grounds for arrest. It was just self-defense. And in Georgia state, that is actually the law. You can shoot somebody if you feel like you are threatened. I have it really hard to believe that he felt threatened by an unarmed man, though. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
And considering that it was you and your son and 2 shotguns.
When you're wielding the weapon, I don't see how. So there's that situation. I just want to say this. So this is really hard for me to talk about, and it's actually been really hard for me to read as well. One, I didn't watch the video because I don't see any, like, I don't think it's gonna make me feel any better.
It's hard to watch.
Make me feel worse. I can already imagine. But I actually had a cousin who was murdered in 2015 in Bardstown, Kentucky, and the similarities between how it's been shuffled around and just passed to different district attorneys and people not treating the justice system the way they should. It's just crazy to see it happening again. And it's like, it's not really happening again. It's that this is always happening.
It's a continuation of this cycle of,
This is something that is always happening. And we're going to show you guys that with the additional examples that we have. So probably the same week we all saw the video of Ahmaud Arbery's murder.
Sean Reed was live on Facebook on May 6th, so the following day.
Mm-hmm.
He was involved in a high-speed police chase, and at one point, and he was on Facebook Live the whole time, and at one point got out of the vehicle after he believed that he lost them, and then you can hear him running.
You can hear him running.
And then you hear gunshots.
You hear him go, "Oh no." And then you hear like 12 gunshots. You hear the first, which I think is when he was like, "Oh no." And then you hear like 12 more. And then the police officer walks up and is of course like, "Well, where's the gun? Where's the gun? Oh no, where's the gun?" And of course they can't touch anything because they can't compromise the crime scene.
Right.
So they have to wait until somebody else gets there. But all of this is on live. So you can see people commenting like, "I think they just killed him."
Right.
They just killed him on video.
You can hear the commentary.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was crazy because I watched that video not knowing that that's what it was.
Yeah.
And so I was watching it and I was like, he's probably just fooling around like on some high speed chase and gets away. And then like, when I heard the like 12 shots, I was like, this was on the internet?
Yeah.
And like, it's still on the internet. And at one point, finally, when backup comes, you hear one of the cops say, "Oh, well, I guess it's going to be a closed casket, buddy." And that's just,
it's just insensitive,
wildly inappropriate.
Yeah. And so we can't speculate too much on what happened because you hear more than you can officially like see. But it did not sound like there was any altercation. He
may have had a gun, but I don't think that he did. Mainly because of the circumstances. Like he was in this high speed chase and then like he was running with his phone. There was just really no time for him to have had a gun, but we don't know. We don't know all of the circumstances. There's currently an internal affairs investigation and the officer who shot him is on administrative leave, which I don't feel like is anything. I'm talking cuffs.
Right. It's a really unfortunate and sad situation.
And then the next person was actually here in our own backyard or
a local
own city.
Yeah, local incident.
So Sean Furr, is that how you say it?
I believe so.
I believe so.
Essentially, there was a domestic violence call that led to a chase and the fatal shooting of this 24-year-old man This happened April 29th.
So these all happened within the
within the same week.
Yeah.
Of each other. And obviously this police officer is on administrative leave.
This one was especially hard to watch just because you watch the video. It's a short video, but this man was actually running from the police, holding his daughter in his arms,
his 1-year-old daughter,
and they shot him. There was no altercation. He was clearly not a threat to them, and and they kept saying that, they were worried about the concern or the safety for the child, yet you shot the father in the head.
Yeah, there was no attempt to get the kid
from him before the shot. Yeah, it was just ridiculous. It's truly ridiculous. That one I definitely recommend researching and looking into, because it's very blatant that it was so unnecessary.
Yeah. And then the last one we want to touch on is Breonna Taylor. This is a woman who lives in Louisville, Kentucky. And essentially what happened was the police officers were on a no-knock search warrant. I don't know how to explain that. They had a no-knock search warrant. They entered the premises without announcing who they were. They were actually at the wrong address. They were actually 10 miles from where they needed to be.
10 miles.
They entered. They did not address who they were. Nobody knew who they were. So it was the woman Breonna and her boyfriend, and they actually thought that they were being
burglarized or broken into.
Yeah, they thought they were being robbed. So her boyfriend called 911 and then got his gun and started firing. Well, you now have 3 cops in your house. So they shot 20 rounds blindly into her room and killed her. They actually hit her 6 to 8 times. And she was asleep in her own home, in her own bed. And I just think, and this happened on March 14th. I'm sorry. I just think that it's so much negligence.
That's crazy. Yes. I know that they're trying to execute things like this while people are on lockdown and whatnot, because it's quote unquote easier to find and nail down criminals and whatnot. But this was a huge error.
Right.
Huge mistake.
How 10 miles?
That's what I'm saying. How did they get so far away from the initial address? Obviously it was clerical error or
right.
How do you not look into that first though?
So we read that what they think happened is that whoever they were looking for was using her address
for mail
or their business dealings, quote unquote business dealings. And so they showed up at her house. But I just
did you not run surveillance on the place? There's so many questions.
My thing is, I understand that it was a no-knock search warrant and they could just enter their premises, they had permission to do that. But I feel like they should have said something.
But I'm with Jazz. Having the proper intelligence is definitely. You always see on all the shows, we've been watching this house for 3 or 4 days, or we've got some intel, and our informant is saying this, and we've already seen him, and
right. And if there's no sign of him, it's hello, you have no proof that he was there anyways. Are they going to say
you just started shooting?
We assume that he was held up in there, and just sick.
So yeah. We wanted to bring that up because essentially we want to say, stop killing Black people in the streets and in their homes. We won't be quiet until it stops. So that's really all I have to say. Yeah, I'm honestly really fed up with it. It's really hard to see this stuff all the time. When the first one happened, it was Ahmaud happened first, and I was I can't do this. It really hurts my soul.
And then the next
day, Sean Reed happened. And then the next day, we found out Sean Furr happened. And I've actually heard about Breonna Taylor because a lot of my family in Kentucky's been sharing this story. And I'm just honestly tired of it. And I'm sure most and all Black people in America are tired of it because all we're trying to do is live while being Black in America, and it's unacceptable.